Well, turning to Canberra now, the government is set to reject a recommendation for an unprecedented boost to Jobseeker payments made by a committee that it commissioned. Live to our Sky News political reporter Joel Philp. Joel, those recommendations, they came about through a deal that was brokered with the independent Senator David Pocock, so there must be some fallout on that front.
Yeah, there is, Ash. Look, this Economic Inclusion Advisory Committee was set up to win the support of independent Senator David Pocock for the government's controversial IR reforms last year. But now this committee has had some big recommendations of its own, specifically a 40% increase to Jobseeker payments, which are described in the report as seriously inadequate. But that recommendation is not expected to be implemented by the government. Here's David Pocock's response.
This is a payment that should mean that people are able to look at their options, apply for jobs, continue to live above the poverty line while they try and get back into the workforce. If we value this as a country, if we believe that we should have a safety net that leaves no one behind, then we need to be raising the rate of Jobseeker and youth allowance.
David Pocock, who wanted this report done, wasn't even briefed on its contents before it was dropped. So if I were David Pocock, I would sort of look at this government and say, well, why on earth would I ever negotiate with you again? Because, you know, that was sneaky, it was underhand.
Because of Australia's difficult financial standings currently, anything above indexation of these payments is requiring significant scrutiny in the Treasurer's office. Of course, nothing is confirmed before the budget and it's just weeks away. But Greens leader Adam Bandt says that these payments are punishingly low, and Government Services Minister Bill Shorten agrees.
You can't live on Jobseeker as it is at the moment. Jobseeker should be lifted to the poverty line. In a wealthy country like ours, no one should live in poverty. And what we know is that we can afford to do that and balance the budget if we stop the stage 3 tax cuts for politicians and the wealthy and make the big corporations pay their fair share of tax.
Well, I couldn't live on it, so I'm not going to say that it's easy for people. But the decision about raising any rate is going to be one for the government and our economic team. We can only do what is responsible and sustainable, and unfortunately the budget that we inherited from the previous government is heaving with $1 trillion of Liberal debt, so can't do everything.
The report made 37 recommendations in total, and some of them are much more modest. The total price tag of all of them together is $34 billion over a 4-year period, but some of them may not come with any cost at all. I'm just going to read through some of them now to you. An increase to rent assistance payments, that the government outline a clear time frame for these interest increases, and this is an interesting one, that it commit to a full employment objective by giving it increased weight in both fiscal and monetary policy, which is what the RBA said. It's interesting there because we're obviously expecting that report on the RBA soon, and it is expected the government will embrace some more of these more modest, cheaper recommendations, but time will tell, Ash.